Tyler kept on coming to church. Then Tammy joined him, and she started coming to church. Then one day, Tyler all right. Then one day, Tyler and Tammy came, and basically this is what they told me. We want to get married. The pastor that was going to marry us backed out. We don't have time to find another pastor. Would you mind driving how far? 3-4 hours?
4.5 hours.
4.5 hours. Marry us. And they're like, okay, let me see my schedule. Well, the wedding actually happened on the same weekend as mini camp meeting. Oh, I was divided. I was torn apart.
We had no idea.
Mini camp meeting, mini camp meeting, wedding. And for whatever reason, he was coming more towards the wedding. So, of course, we loved him. And so we joined the wedding. So we had the privilege of being part of that special day. And now we have the privilege also of being part of this special day, your baptism. For the past several months, we've been coming together, studying the Bible, getting a deeper understanding, and we just cover all of it. And so there's still a lot more to learn, but this is the beginning of their experience. This is just, a wonderful day for them, and we would like to celebrate that. We have a couple of gifts. We have a bag. This bag actually is from the conference office, our headquarters. They would like to honor you with a couple things in there, so you can take it home. And we have a little gift here. This is from our church. And we have a couple of flowers. It would be nice to have a lady do this, wouldn't it?
We're getting
Sorry.
baptized. So clueless. I missed it. What happened? What happened?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It looks like a
Thank you, Sean. And so this is a way for us to thank you for your friendship, for your love, for your cooperation, and to celebrate the special day.
Thank you.
All right. So let me step aside so Tammy can get Tyler and each of the flowers. Also, a few weeks ago, when we were talking about the baptism, they expressed their desire actually to be part of this morning's service. They wanted to present their story. They wanted to share their experience with all of you. It's a familiar stranger, and we're going to understand a little bit better what that means through Tammy and Tyler. So I'm just going to hand over to you guys, and you just take over from there.
Start off with a quick prayer, if you don't mind. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this beautiful Sabbath day. I just really, really want to thank you so much for family, for friends. And when I mean family, I just mean more than just mine and more than just my wife's. For this entire church, for being right here with us. And one of the things that my wife and I have just said is that this is going to be more than just a baptism. This is something so much more important than a wedding day. This is the real wedding day for Tammy and I. So I thank you so much for giving us so many blessings, for getting us through the struggles and challenges. So you are an amazing God, and I just ask that you will be with us, be with Tammy as she speaks with all of her heart, as well as mine, and that everyone will get to know us, who we are. Just thank you so much for just being a God that we can love and praise and just come right to you. In your name I pray. Amen. So I'm Tyler. I've been coming here for 2 years, and I absolutely have not stopped coming because I absolutely love you guys. And Tammy and I are going to be talking about our journey, pretty much. And we've titled it A Familiar Stranger. And Tammy will actually be the reason why it's titled that. It entices to her journey. So if you guys could welcome my beautiful wife, Tammy.
Oh.
Hi, everybody. I just want to thank everyone for coming. Just so much love and support from everybody from this church. You guys are family. And we were supposed to have the baptism last month, May long weekend, like Pastor Roger was saying. We're going to have it on the day before our anniversary. But because it was so busy because of the May long weekend, we decided, or people decided for us, they said they want to come. So Pastor Roger encouraged us to change the date so everybody can be here today. So we really appreciate that and all the love and support from you guys. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'm not really good at speaking in front of people. I'm really not really good at speaking about myself, but it's not about me today. It's about God and about praising Him and glorifying Him. So we're just talking about, like Tyler said, the familiar stranger, and we put the picture of us there because we didn't know each other well, of course, before we came, but more so, I didn't know God before I came here. And do you ever like pass by people in your daily routine? You know, you may be in the same neighborhood, you may be in the same apartment or whatever, or you even work in the same building, but you don't know who they are. You just don't know their name or anything, but you pass by them and you kind of give them a nice little nod and a hello, but there's nothing more that comes out of that. And so that's how I think me and God were before I came to God. Is He was trying to get my attention. More so, I was drawn to Him, but He was trying to show me that He was in my life, even when I didn't even know it. Pastor Rogers actually took a lot of stuff I was going to say anyways. That makes it easy for me. So basically, I can start off from when I was little. Sure. That's me at 4. Now, when we were little, me and my brother I was born in Montreal. My brother was 10 years older than me, so he was more of a father figure to me than anything. He was there for a lot of things. He still treated me like a brother. We got everything. But when we were growing up, we had a loving family, but we didn't really talk about God. We didn't really have like a connection. I knew that we knew of Him. It was spoke about a little bit, but it wasn't. We didn't go regularly to church. I was kind of confused about God. And so I knew He was present, but I didn't know exactly what He was really. And as we were growing up, my father, he's a chartered accountant and my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and we moved around a lot. Because of his job. So we moved from one place to another. We probably covered across all of Canada because of the different moves that we had. So that was kind of cool. But the problem for me growing up is that there was no stability. There was no foundation that we knew of because we're always getting up and leave. I would get to know friends, and then I would have to move in a couple months because of my dad's job. And he was only doing his best for us. But as a kid, it was hard. But I learned as I got older that I was okay with change. I was very adaptable to change. I was very adaptable to doing those things. But I mean, there's kind of pros and cons to that because as much as I'm okay with change, I wasn't okay with stability. We went through that, and unfortunately, my parents had got divorced. And actually, that's when I truly found God because there was brokenness in our home. And it wasn't, it goes back, I was actually trying to think about what to say today because I had a whole bunch of things to say and I could put it in a short amount of time. But there was a thing that I read earlier, and it talked about, it's in Ezekiel 14, and it talks about how we put things in our lives as idols, and how we think of idols as like gold and silver and things. But sometimes, like, the things we think about all the time are the things that are our idols. And so, like, for instance, if you're struggling with a relationship or you're struggling with a sickness and that's all you think about, that becomes your idol. And so I think that's what happened with my dad, is that he, he wanted the best for us, but that's all he thought about, and that's how the brokenness started. And so I started thinking about like my own life and how I actually did the same thing. I worried about a lot of things, and but I'll get into that in a sec here. So as I got older, so my parents split up, and I ended up living with my dad. But my parents asked me, they said, what do you want to do? And because all I ever wanted was consistency, all I ever wanted was something that was like all the time and solid, I said, I want to stay here in the same community with my family, the same community with the kids that I knew, grew up with, went to the same school. That's all I wanted. So they gave me that choice. So I ended up living with my dad. And bless his heart, he did the best he could. Being a dad, there's only so much he can do. And my mom was there for me too. And that's when I started learning about God. And as much as I was open to it, I didn't know I was confused. And I had people coming into my life and saying, do you want to go to church? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't really know much about it. I was kind of nervous. And then I had one friend that said, why don't you just take this book? And it was a book. It was a Bible study, but it was also a study for people who were new at it. And I started reading it. And I was like, I want more in my life. I want more than just sorrow. So I kept on reading it. And then as I left the nest when I was 18, I met a guy. And the guy actually is part of his biological father. And I fell in love. Everything was great. And when I was in the first relationship I ever had, and I didn't realize what I was getting into. I had uncertainties, and then I started realizing that he was a drinker and he did drugs, and I need to figure that out. I myself wasn't ready for that. My family didn't do that. There was never aggression or anger in my home when I was growing up, but all of a sudden I have this, and so it was a year into it, and I realized, well, I'm stuck because now I have feelings for this person. And we were living in sin because we weren't married. We were basically on the law. But then the worst part of it happened is he not only was all those other things, he also was physically and mentally abused. So I had to face that. And I was worried about, I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell people. I didn't want people to know what was going on in my life. So, people would come over and they would be like, hey, you guys are great, you're perfect. And then behind closed doors, that's where the aggression happened. And so this is the first time I'm actually talking about this publicly. So, but it was really hard for me to get over that. But even with that, I thought, okay, I can change this guy, I can make things better. But that is not how it works. People need to change on their own. And so I tried, and it didn't work. And so we decided to have a child. And, for the 9 months that I was pregnant, it was great because, of course, there was no anger there. We were excited about having a baby. And then after I delivered the baby, that's when it started all over again. And so I didn't really have a break. I didn't know. I was confused. I was someone who was just fluttering. And I go back to what I was talking about title. He was my, I didn't realize I got it backwards. Really, I was supposed to serve God. And so, I had it really backwards, and God was like, you gotta get yourself together, and you gotta figure this out. Unfortunately, as well, I left him, and, as things got really bad. But the good news is, I raised my son after about 7 years from thinking about anybody else, and then I found Tyler. And we met at the hospital. We are. The first time we met at the hospital, we were working in security. I was a supervisor. Probably going to tell more about that. and he was my trainee. I trained him and helped him through his job. But we started to build a friendship, and then after we started to build a relationship. And he was the one that brought me to God, actually. He was the one that taught me, because he came from a Christian family, and he knew a lot about God. And so he just poured out his heart to me and told me, you are worth more than you think you are, and you have so much potential. And so I was just blessed to have him in my life. Not only did, that come, he also decided to take over Carter's father. Sorry, I do that a lot. I mix their names together. When I was a kid, my mom my brother's name is Chad, and my name is Tammy, so she would call me Chammy. So I guess maybe I took over that trait. But anyway, he taught me about God, and told me that it's okay to just surrender yourself, and that you deserve more than you think you are, and you are worthy. And whoever's here who doesn't feel that, you guys are worthy. Like, there's so many things in the world, so many people that tell you that you're not, or that you need to do better, you need to be more successful, more prettier, more handsome. But really, in God's eyes, you guys are perfect. And so I needed to learn that. And I'm still struggling through that. Like, there's times I don't want to wake up, but I know I have to, because it's not about me, it's about God. And so I need to glorify him and praise him and just show the people his love. So, I guess in closing on my behalf, I just wanted to say my favorite passage in the Bible. Find it. So it's Matthew 7, and it says, "Keep asking, seeking, and knocking. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be open." Now it says there, everybody. So that means me. That means you guys. Like, and that's why I'm so grateful to be baptized today. I just want to just be a part of this family even more so, and be encouraging to other families, and also to glorify God and make them know that I want to be his child. That's me.